How are you doing today? I'm going to try to show you what's going on with this laptop. I'm sure you can see that right there. It never did that before, and I was experiencing problems with the laptop getting very hot. And you'll see in my letter there was no thermal paste between the GPU core and the heatsink itself. And contacted ASUS a number of times, and essentially they told me it was normal. I called the service repair center in Pennsylvania. I also used the online chat, and just yesterday I removed the motherboard to find that there was no thermal paste between the heatsink and the GPU. Like I said, I was getting upwards to 89 degrees Celsius. The card was actually throttling itself. The thermal pads were all melted to the video RAM, basically because that entire panel was heating up, but it was not getting to the heatsink. So you can see that pretty clear, and it also does it on web pages. So I'm going to put a link to a web page that you kind of experience the flashing, but not so much that. And that to me looks like a GPU artifact. And it only does it on light gray screens. I don't know if I'm going to be able to refocus here. You can kind of see it there too. I lost my focus. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, I've lost. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you can see it there too. It happens in the light gray boxes. If you look at the rest of the picture, it doesn't look too bad. But I'm going to show you something real quick. Let me see how I can do this here. I'll try to show you guys something here. Okay. There's one particular instance where you can see it in the whole screen here. So go to the anti-aircraft here. Now this is going to be... I don't know if you can see it. I'm inside the vehicle, but the entire screen, it's like it's not rendering the textures properly. So you can see the whole screen is just kind of flashing. And you can see those are still there as well. So I'm going to back out of this. And I'm going to go to the desktop. Whoop. Sorry about that. I'm going to open up the web browser here. It actually does it on this screen too, but I think I'd have to be on the home. So I'm going to go to a website here. I'm going to link that you guys can get into. Unigen.com. You can see that flashing there. That's almost the same exact background color as the actual game. It does this with several other programs too. But if you look there, that looks pretty good. Really don't see too much. The only other thing I did notice is, other than the flashing, now this is going to be really hard for you to see on the video. Oh, let me do this here. I noticed, let's see if I can minimize that. Oh, jeez. I don't think it's going to let me do it in game here. Anyways, I noticed even on my desktop background here, the screen looks really like you can actually see the individual pixels. It's not smooth like it used to be. You can see how it's got a lot of coarse edges. So I'm not sure what's going on with it. What I can tell you is I've got these... Oh, geez. Excuse me. Let's do this. I have these 4 pictures. There's one video right here. Let me zoom out here. There's the one video right here. I also put these 5 pictures in here. When I removed the motherboard, this is what I found. Absolutely no thermal paste or a thermal pad on the GPU core itself. Back out of this. Oh, it's going to keep doing that every time I go into the game here. This is what the thermal pads looked like. That's actually the heatsink. I did not clean that heatsink. There was absolutely nothing on that heatsink. It was a bare copper to core connection. And you can see every single thermal pad has been melted, because essentially what was happening is this piece was getting extremely hot, but there was no thermal conductivity between the copper and the core because there was no paste in between. Temperatures were spiking up to about, I'd say 89 degrees Celsius, like I said, 87, 89, and then what would happen is it would start throttling itself. Going into another picture, this is after I replaced thermal pads, and I actually used very high quality pads, so I don't know if that's what you're going to end up putting back on there if you have to remove this again. I also used Innovation Cooling, the diamond, 7-carat diamond thermal paste. I put top of the line products in everything that I do. And I was expecting that from ASUS when I bought this laptop, and apparently that's not the case, as they didn't even put thermal paste on the CPU heatsink, or I'm sorry, the GPU heatsink. So there's all the brand new thermal pads, and they were the highest rated as far as thermal conductivity for a thermal pad. I paid about $40 for everything, the cleaner once I repasted the GPU and CPU, and yeah, I spent a lot of money on it, and now I'm sending it out again. I'm sending it out for the first time because of this problem that we're having in-game. And as you can see, it's still occurring in the game. And let me zoom in on this one more time. So I don't know if this is what you guys would call a GPU artifact, but to me it sure seems like it. There's a real good shot of it. You can see the lines moving in an upwards direction. Never used to be there. Alright. And you can see now also, I'm going to show you. Temperatures at 55 degrees Celsius. That's 34 degrees Celsius cooler than what the laptop was running. And now there is hot air coming out of the GPU exhaust fan. Where before, I tried telling ASUS this through online chat, and I also told them through their the component support phone number, and they all told me it was normal. So, unfortunately, I did remove the parts to find out what was wrong. The good news is I found out what was wrong, but I think the damage has already been done. So I will leave this video for you guys, just so you can see what I'm talking about, and that way you guys know what I'm looking at, and hopefully we can get this resolved. Alright, thanks. Take care. Any questions, feel free to email me or call me. Thanks. Bye-bye.